But you said something before the break that you think Jordan Poole needs a change of scenery.
Well, I guess where I'm going at is first off, I'm a big Jordan Poole fan. You know that. I've been a big Jordan Poole fan.
Yeah, you were the biggest Jordan Poole fan. I mean,
I'm not saying that
at this point last year, you wanted Jordan Poole starting, and you thought he should have been in the starting lineup or the finishing lineup. Remember, you asked the question.
Yeah.
Ironically, almost a year to the date when the Warriors beat Milwaukee on a Saturday night when Klay Thompson dropped 38. I remember you sent the text about 30 minutes before the game. So I know Jordan Poole and Stephen Curry are going to be in the finishing lineup. Who else? And I said, dude, stop. And then Klay went off, and you apologize, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm taking it back a little bit.
Well, look, you got to understand that I want him to be a Warrior. I love the guy. It just feels like he is now the new scapegoat. And a part of me also feels like I'm watching a player slowly disconnect from the fabric of what everyone else is doing. And maybe that's just because of the role evolving. And maybe in a week from now, you ask me this question and my opinion changes because you get new data, new information, the values of things change. It just feels like I'm watching that guy and I'm saying some doesn't feel connected. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the team with him, if it's him with the team. I can't put my finger on it. I just know this, is if I was him, I probably would want a fresh start somewhere eventually.
Why?
Because it just feels like he's the odd man out. And it feels like whenever the team doesn't do well, the first person to get blamed is Jordan Poole. And part of it is on him. But, like, it just feels like all his shortcomings are exaggerated to everyone, whereas others are ignored. And I would be frustrated if I was a 23-year-old player trying to prove myself in the league and my minutes aren't consistent. I don't know, man. I feel like he's in a tough spot.
He's in a championship organization. A championship organization that was patient with him after selecting him in the first round of the NBA draft back in 2019. Goes out to the G League, back and forth, plays last year, really comes into his own. He's in his fourth year. And this system maximizes what he can do. He can play off the ball. He can play on the ball. Now, this year it's been a nightmare, right? And you look at his last 10 games, he's shooting 27% from the three-point line. Mm-hmm. He is slumping, but he's still giving you 18 points per game. He's still giving you 5 assists. He's still giving you 93% from the free throw line. Maybe he's just in a rut.
Well, forget the numbers.
Maybe he's just in a rut.
No,
forget
he might
the numbers,
be in it. He might be in it.
It doesn't look good. I get it. Trust me, it doesn't look good. You look at the last 5 games, he's only shooting 25% from the three-point line. That's not good. But it changes scenery. That's interesting. That's interesting.
I'm just suggesting. I'm not saying that it has to happen.
How do you think Joe Lacob and Myers? I mean, now we don't know if Myers.
I just think everyone's frustrated. I think the team's frustrated at their record, all the lineups, all the different people coming in and out. And I think individually, when you start to lose and you're not humming, all these little things start to roost and they become bigger things. And it's not the end of the world. Again, maybe a week from now, things change. It felt like that 5 games win streak, he was starting to play better basketball. There was some synergy starting to develop. Steph Curry comes back. Now he's relegated back to the bench. And he feels disconnected again. And again, maybe he finds his footing here over the next couple of days. I'm watching him the other day, and he didn't seem like himself. And maybe I'm making too much of one game. But it feels like this year has not been his best body of work. And every time it feels like he's going to turn the corner, he goes back into a 3 or 4 game rut.
Well, he's averaging a career high in points. He's playing the same amount of minutes as he did last season, which is 30 minutes a game. He's still shooting 87.5% from the free throw line. All right, so the three-point percentage is down about from 36 to 32. He's getting up more shots this season. The field goal percentage, not a big drop-off. 44.5 last year, 42.
Closing, if you're a young player, like if you're 23, when you're 19 and you're not closing, okay, it'll come with time.
He's 23.
Okay.
Steph and Clay are in your way.
But that's part of it,
honestly, though.
Too.
Does Jordan Poole deserve to close?
No,
because he's had
not
opportunities
right
to close.
No, not right now. But that's kind of where, if I was in his camp, I'm sitting here and I'm saying to myself, if you go here, you will close every single game and you'll be the dude.
Well, how's Jordan Poole been in closing situations?
He hasn't been good, Bonte.
Right. So he doesn't deserve to close. He's had the opportunity to close.
Dante DiVincenzo's a better basketball player for the Golden State Warriors right now. But I think if you're talking about someone's career, like these are two different conversations. You're talking about it from the Warriors' perspective.
No.
Taking
from the
Jordan
individual.
Poole's
But that's selfish. If that's the case, then that's selfish.
All these guys are thinking about themselves at some level.
So it's not about the team then anymore. It's about I need to get mine.
Well, I think a lot of guys are saying to themselves, when I get mine, the team will also be better. Like, that's the pride and the ego that they have, and I mean that in a good way, of they think that they can put their imprint on winning.
Well,
I'll go there and it'll be different.
Jordan Poole was getting his last March, and the team was not winning.
I know.
So, if you want to play in closing situations, you got to take care of the basketball. Jordan Poole has proven in closing situations he hasn't taken care of the basketball, but he's in his 4th season. He's still a very young player. So I would say patience. If it's just about closing,
it's not.
You know what? I don't. What is it?
It's everything. It's everything. It's. I don't know if I'm starting or I'm coming off the bench. I don't think I could play long-term defense alongside of Steph Curry. Like I'm just looking at this as you zoom out, moving forward, and not just within the fabric of this year. If you're going to stay with Curry, which we all think they should, of course they should. He's the greatest Warrior of all time. I don't know how sustainable a Poole Curry, combination is if you don't have that other big guard who can play alongside of them, who can give them that defensive multiplicity, because Poole plays no defense.
Well, that's a problem.
I know. No, I know
better
it's
defensively
on him.
because Steph Curry has improved his defense. That's on him.
Well,
so if you want to close games, you need to get better on the defensive end of the floor.
But you're dismissing the fact that he has his own internal wishes. I know you can
We don't know what his wishes are. Well, how do you know what his wishes are? We don't know what his wishes are.
Because you take the temperature of most young players, and they want to play on the court. Most guys, they're in the league for a reason. They want to play. But that's pretty obvious.
He's playing a career high in minutes. So he is
not closing.
You don't deserve to close when you don't play defense. I think he
agree with that. But if you're the person who's sitting on the bench in closing minutes, you're going to be frustrated.
I think he understands why he's not closing. Dante DiVincenzo is a better defender. Gary Payton II, when he comes back, is a better defender.
Would Bonte Hill want to be the nighttime show guy forever?
Of course not.
Exactly.
Of course not.
Right? So the same thing applies for someone like Jordan Poole.
No, that's different. No.
How is it different?
He's still getting 30 minutes a game, and he's still scoring 20.
You were making the exact same money.
If I was making the same amount of money, and I got to work at night, then damn it, I'll work at night. Sleeping in.
And getting no guests.
You can get guests.
I've done that
grind. You get creative. I've done that grind, too.
You're not in any of the social media stuff.
No.
I think that if you're being realistic, most people want more. They want more.
I disagree with that.
They want to be more.
I've worked nights. I did Sports Phone 680 with Ray Woodson and produced that show. You get guests. You can have some fun. You get creative. If I'm making the same amount of money, you're saying, hey, Bonte, you can sleep till 12 o'clock.
I think you're full of
what?
I'm
not full of it at all.
How many people are going to want to play the low man on the totem pole, or is it the high man? Because I forget if it goes. Anyway,
but it's not the low man on the totem pole. He's a very important player to this team.
Within the guards right now, if you look at the guards, take Ty Jerome, throw him to the side. Curry, Clay, in terms of their guards right now, DiVincenzo, and then Poole. Isn't that the hierarchy?
Yes. And shouldn't that be the hierarchy?
No, that's the earned based off your production. That is. But what I'm saying is, when you're a young player, you're going to want to say, well, wait a minute, if I can go, to 20 other teams right now, and I wouldn't be sitting at the end of games.
So basically, winning doesn't matter then. You're basically saying
that I did that last year, but moving forward, I don't want to do that anymore.
All right, let's go more. Let's go to Muhammad all the way in Minnesota. Muhammad, what's happening? You're on the roast.
Hello, Bonte. Good morning, guys. I was listening to that Jordan Poole, and I'm enjoying. I'm watching the TV and listening to you guys.
What you got on Poole and Looney? Thank you.
I want to shout out to Looney and DiVincenzo. They play good.
Agreed.
And, we play good, and I'm so happy. A lot of people have been saying Giannis wasn't playing, and they played a few weeks ago without Giannis. They played with Boston without the 5 starting lineup, and they go with overtime, the same we did last night. My question is, are we judging the Warriors too early? Because I saw people are judging Poole. I saw people are judging most of our players. Are we judging this team too early without having our 2 best defenders away?
Well, they might not have them the rest of the year, unfortunately. So I'm starting to evaluate them as this is who they are. Until Wiggins comes back, that feels like gravy to me at this point. I don't even know. I don't know how else you can recalibrate. Like, this is who they are right now. And I'm looking at them, and I think they're just going to be inconsistent, and they're going to need their top dogs to play like it. The top paid guys are going to have to play like the top paid guys.
And unfortunately, and I know Poole's money doesn't kick in until next season, but right now, down the stretch, you were at the game Saturday.
Yeah.
He was unplayable down the stretch.
100% agree. No, B, every time he had the ball in his hand, I was like, pass it. Pass it. Work the offense. He took a corner three. It had no chance of going in. And he looks like he's lost a lot of his confidence. Simultaneously, I'm seeing Steph Curry he looked so frustrated toward the end of that game, and just the overall vibe of where the team was. I don't know. I felt for these guys.
You know, with Steph Curry, that game reminded me of the season a couple years ago when they went to the play-in tournament and lost to the Lakers or the Grizzlies. It feels like Curry senses, I just need to take over.
Yes.
I just need to go out there and do what I do. And he woke up in the nick of time, scored 29 of his 36 points in the second half. Steph Curry had that mentality. It's like, I just need to do what I need to do. Let's go to Robert real quick.
They need him to take over more. Like right now, this team needs Steph Curry and Klay Thompson to carry this team.
Robbie, good morning. We can hear you. How you doing?
Because I'm in half moon bay. Let me turn my heater off. Listen, you guys, I just hate when people, when Jordan Poole is the focus. I understand he's not doing good. He's not doing what's in his fourth year. But here's the deal. You got to look at the first 2 years. I mean, look at where he came from. Right? I forgot what pick he was. He was in the G League. He worked his butt off. He hit the first years. He didn't look playable. So let's just not count the first 2 years. Now he gets to the third year, and he's surprised, and then he gets paid for it. People don't want to say that they don't equate him getting paid to his play, but it's the expectation level. So now we expect him, because what he did last year, to be this be-all, end-all, and he's just not there because he's still in his development progress. We expect him to be a two-week player. You know how hard it is to work on defense and offense, and then run up and down the floor. Look at where he's been up until the point where he's at. And I just think the guys, not you guys, I'm not going to take it literally, but people's expectations are just way too high. Don't look at it. Bye, you guys. Peace out.
Thanks, Robert. Look, their overall stat line looks good. 20.5 points per game, 4.5 assists for a player who doesn't know his role. That's special. That is special.
Wait.
And I don't want to.
He's not special this year, though. Like the numbers
hasn't been
good.
special.
The numbers look
but when
good,
you
but
average, when you just take a step back, you take a step back and you say, "Damn, this guy got punched in training camp. This guy doesn't know when he's starting. He doesn't know when he's coming off the bench. He doesn't know who he's playing next to. He's had to be a facilitator, be a scorer. Steph's been out. I got to step up. Steph's back in. I got to step back down." Overall, the numbers look good. Now, the eye test will tell you he struggled a bit. But to Robin's point, he has come a long way. And I don't want to speak for Jordan Poole because I don't know what motivates him. I go back to the quote he had last year. Second round, I believe, maybe the first round. Some reporter asked Jordan Poole, "What have you learned this postseason?" He goes, "I've learned the most important thing is that it's all about winning. It's all about winning." And he comes from a winning culture in Michigan with John Beilein. He comes from a winning culture, La Lumiere High School out there in Indianapolis. So I don't want to speak for Jordan Poole to say, hey, he's all about his. He's all about getting his. He wants to close games.
I'm not
because
speaking
it's about
for him.
him.
I'm picking up a vibe that it feels disconnected. That's all.
The team feels disconnected.
No doubt.
The team's been disconnected.
But I think
so that's why I have a
think
problem. That's why I have a problem with every time something happens, we point the finger at Jordan Poole.
Well, they won the game, and I'm still like looking at him like, man, he just didn't play well.
Right, like Draymond he's had some rough moments. Looney's had rough moments. Steph's had rough moments.
Yeah, but I don't question Looney's effort on a night-to-night basis. DiVincenzo and Looney, they played their asses off Saturday night.
I don't question Jordan Poole's effort.
No, I question his discernment.
Defensively, he gets cooked.
I question his discernment.
So I just, man, we just go so hard at Jordan Poole all the time. I just, you know what? But I think he understands right now in the closing lineup, you got to defend. And right now, he's not the defender Dante DiVincenzo or Gary Payton II is. And you know what? It is what it is. The guy's still seeing 30 minutes, and he's still giving you 20 on a nightly basis. So I don't know what motivates him, but it changes scenery. I don't know.
It's just a thought down the line. I didn't say that I'm moving him today. I'm just saying if I was gonna kind of look into the future a little. It feels like the two of them are, it just feels like right now, I think at some point a split is inevitable.
Right. 888-957-9570. That'd be wild. Think about that. Give it up on Luke, Wiseman, Poole. So much for the two timelines, right?
Well, it's all about winning now and maximizing now. Like when you're talking about you have one of the greatest players of all time in Steph Curry, and you see him have that performance like he did the other night, and you're saying to yourself, you know how much energy it takes for him to carry the entire organization like that? Like, that's asking a lot. Like, they need more from these other guys to be able to move forward. As he starts to get older, you're hoping he can take less of the pressure, right? You're hoping that you can take more off of his plate. And I don't see anybody meeting him halfway.